MDJ podcast. And what does that stand for?
Mr. DJ Podcast.
What's up, YouTube? Back at you with another video, and we're here with podcast either number 19 or 20. But anyway, I got two special guests here. Y'all go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Yeah, my name is Steve Allen. I'm on YouTube. People call me Uncle Steve. I'm here. I'm Mr. DJ. You know, that's my man right there. We're gonna chop it up about a couple of things. You know, free for all and all that good stuff. And so let's get this thing popping.
What's going on, y'all? It's LeVar back here with another video. I already did a quick take one time with Dimitri, but this time, you know what I'm saying, we're gonna get on that Terence Crawford, Errol Spence Jr. So
Facts. So anyway, so without further ado, we're just gonna get into it. So I just want to start it off with our thoughts collectively on Errol Spence and Terence Crawford as individuals, and then like why we're choosing to support one over the other, and then we'll get into the fight. So one of y'all go first.
all right. So when talking about both of them as people, actually I respect for both of them. I don't really hate neither one of them. I respect what they both doing. I did talk about Errol Spence ducking Terence Crawford in the past, but I will say that
a lot of Spence slander. lot of Spence slander. This guy, you know.
Talk about it. That's right. Let's keep it real.
Yeah, but with that being said, I'd say that Errol Spence, in terms of his personal, like everything that he does in his personal life, obviously I'm not in his personal life, but from what I see on the screen, I have no choice but to respect that. And whatever, because I do say that Errol Spence ducks, but the thing is, like, with that being said, he didn't really have to take the fight if he didn't want to, and he's still deciding to fight Terence Crawford. So I respect him for that as well. So I can't just sit here and say that he's ducking all it because the fight about to happen. That's why we're here.
That's what I'm saying.
So,
yeah, I'm like,
yeah,
you're not gonna get away with that shit, bro.
Yeah.
Not over here, man.
But yeah, as boxers and are we going to talk about them as boxers, or are we just going?
Yeah, like so you were a Crawford fan more so than a Spence fan, or you know what I'm saying? So you're rooting for him. So like what makes you want to root for Terence Crawford? What makes you want to support him? What inspires you to take the time out of your day to slander Spence on your Instagram? Like that.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Inquiring minds want to know, sir.
So one reason I would say, and this is probably the main reason, is I would say when it comes to the sport of boxing and like the art and craft of it, everything that happens, the science of it, I think Terence Crawford does that a lot better than Errol Spence. And I think that for Errol Spence to get the dub, I honestly wouldn't be against Errol Spence winning, but I just think it would be very disingenuous for someone to be represented as a better boxer or to be the best at boxing if they aren't technically a better boxer, in my opinion. But with that being said, if he still wins the fight, I mean, obviously I can't argue in that aspect, but and I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say that like Errol Spence is gonna rob Terence Crawford. I'm not gonna do him like that or nothing like that, because you know people like to do that with Devin Haney and stuff
Facts.
But yeah, if Errol Spence wins, it's all fair and games. I gotta respect that. I gotta say he's number one pound for pound, because that's what Terence Crawford seen as right now, number one pound for pound. So
on some people's list and shit like that. Not mine.
Right,
not mine.
exactly.
He's up there, but not mine though.
I'm like, no, I'm gonna let him get it out, because you know these Crawford fans, they gotta get it out.
But yeah, I just think that in terms of Crawford's boxing ability, from what I've seen at least, I think he does a lot of things better than Errol Spence, and I really think that's
Have you watched all his fights?
Not every single one, but I've watched the majority of his fight.
Yeah, I know you're uncomfortable because it's two of us and one of you.
Yeah. We ain't gonna team up on you. We just gonna give you some actual factual, because I'm bringing it from the 80s up.
All right, so Steve, now you go ahead, with why you support Errol, why Errol's your guy.
Okay, hold on. Time out. First of all, I was a Crawford fan. I still am a Crawford fan. I like the boy. Bud was my man. And this is before EJ stepped on the scene. I've done some videos about this. But Bud, like I said, was a journeyman. And as we know, a journeyman, he gets fights where he can to make some loot. EJ came out and was going for the gusto for all top-notch fighters. Now, but I watched the way EJ goes to the body, and if you don't know, he trained Mexican style fighting when he came up. So them body shots, he changed the game. That's why I started watching boxing again, because other than Mayweather with his beautiful defense and know how to pot shot you, Errol's coming to beat you up. He ain't coming there to play boxing. He's coming there to hurt you. And that's when I started seeing something about when they call him the body snatcher. You know, time goes forward, we call him the truth. Yeah, because what he does is not, it's called basic, but if you can't beat basic, then you get ready to get your ass whipped. Sad to say. Bud was ducking Errol when it came out because Bud watched his films and was like, oh, and he's seen the way them body shots hurt. Errol's not just gonna hit you he's gonna hit you in your hip, your shoulders. After a while, your body can't take all that torture. And he's constantly going and you hit him and he's still coming. So now I'm not Errol Spence crazy, but I'm Errol Spence fascinated because he's got something that no one's seen. And people think he can't box. But if you look at the people that he fought,
but who even says that though? Because that doesn't.
Who said Errol Spence can't fight?
Yeah, I don't know who's saying that.
Yeah. See, there's arsenal that you haven't seen. If you've seen him fight Lamont Peterson is a bad boy. Did Bud fight him? No. Mikey Garcia. Did Bud fight him? No. Who's the other Garcia?
Danny Garcia.
Danny Garcia.
Ugas. Did Bud fight them? No. So I can go down Bud's list too. Khan, outdated, all that good stuff. All these other.
We're gonna go through his list. We're gonna go through. We're gonna go through his list.
We got Kell Brook, Shawn.
People start comparing. They start comparing. Who did you fight? Who did you fight? No, it's not who you fought. It's the way Errol fights. If you look at his fights, as I've seen, you guys see their fight. Bud is crafty, yeah, but crafty gonna get your ass whipped. You can switch and all that. Errol's still there. He's right there. Right. He's like, yeah.
Right.
He's up in your guts. And that's what I'm saying. I listen, I'm gonna win me some serious money because EJ is gonna show people.
Are you betting on it?
Yeah, man. I'm putting like 4 beans, maybe 5. I don't know, might go higher. The payout is gonna be beautiful. Ooh. Why? That's why I bet on Tank too. I win money, man. You just know. You just know.
Yeah, so I'll say for me, right, and I'll tell you why I don't support Terence Crawford. So I got into the sport in 2016. In 2016, Terence Crawford wasn't even really on my radar because he was fighting at, I think 140. I think he was, so I don't even think he was undisputed yet, but he was at 140 at that time. Now, I'm very picky as far as the weight divisions that I pay attention to. So I was really watching 147, 154, 160, 168 wasn't even lit back then. And then heavyweight fights and then select maybe 135. But basically 147, 154, 160 were the main weight divisions I was watching at the time.
Yeah.
All right. So, and by the time Terence Crawford moved up to 147, he fought Jeff Horn for the WBO title. And it's just all right, you moved up, you fought Jeff Horn, you beat him, but who is Jeff Horn? Okay. And that was the whole thing. It's well, who did you beat to get the belt? Jeff Horn. Okay, cool. Now look at his whole resume, like he was saying earlier, of who he fought at 147, which is a whole bunch of nobodies. And actually, prior to me or in preparation for the podcast, I made sure to look over his professional record on Wikipedia, and I watched his fight with Jose Benavidez because I was watching Errol Spence interview, and he was saying that Terence Crawford said that Jose Benavidez was his toughest fight at 147, which is crazy because Jose Benavidez had one leg. Right. Jose Benavidez had one leg.
He was taking his punches.
Yeah, he had one leg.
He lied about that. He lied about Jose Benavidez.
Yeah, I don't know. See, so he fought Jeff Horn, Jose Benavidez, Amir Khan, Cav Velasquez, Kell Brook, Shawn Porter, David Avanesian. He didn't really fight like anybody, in my opinion. Because and like I said, we're gonna dive into this a little bit later. But what I just don't like about Terence Crawford since he's been at 147 is almost as if he's overestimating his stock. Like he thinks that he's so much higher than he actually is with the opponents that he's fought. So when you're watching him at the press conference talking to Errol, he's acting like he was the one that fought Lamont Peterson. He was the one that he's acting like he fought a prime Kell Brook, a prime Shawn Porter, a prime, you know what I'm saying? Like you fought these guys at towards the end of their career. Because who has Kell Brook fought since he lost to Terence Crawford? Let me see real quick. You know, this is just me saying why I don't support this guy. Okay, so who has he fought since he lost to Terence Crawford? Amir Khan last year in February. Basically, these guys are already done. Shawn Porter basically said he doesn't love boxing, and then he already started his Porterweight podcast, and he was doing all the PBC stuff.
And Porter said he trained the hardest for Errol.
Exactly. So this is what I'm saying.
After Errol's fights, from Porter to Brook, Ugas, if you look at each fight after Errol, they were broken up something bad. Orbital bones.
They weren't the same.
Ribs.
These fights take a lot out of you.
Right. So Terence, you're getting leftover meat right here, and it's like it's already
got the scraps.
Right.
He got the scraps, but he's trying to act like he ate the whole meal. Right, you got the crumbs. You can't
beat the truth.
Right.
And the truth will set you free.
Right.
We're gonna be changing these Terence Crawford fans, man. But it's something, I don't know, something ain't clicking.
Right. So
but that's okay.
Right.
Bet your money on Crawford if you want.
Yeah. There are things that I respect about Terence Crawford, which is the fact that he's a fighter, an elite fighter at that. I'm not going to take anything away from him. I'm a fan of his style. I like his style a lot, but I don't like his personality anymore. I don't like the fact that he stalled the fight off too long, and then he constantly tried to point the fingers at Errol when between the two of them, who fought in between time? He fought David Avanesian.
Well, wait, you remember when Crawford said, "Hey guys," remember he did that live
Instagram live, the whole Instagram live. It's like,
hey guys, come on. Would I really, do this and do that?
It's like airing stuff that he didn't have to air. So he just gave me so many reasons to unfollow him on social media. He gave me so many reasons to block him on Twitter because it's just like, yo, I'm so tired of this guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the last thing, it was at the New York press conference, I believe. And LeVar, I know you've seen it, and Steve, you most likely probably seen it too.
Yeah,
how do you try to start an altercation with Derek James?
Oh, with Derek James.
And I'm like, yo, that's Derek James. Like, it's not how much of an asshole do you have to be to start an altercation with Derek James, who, in my opinion, is one of the most likable, guys in boxing. I can understand if this was like Angel Garcia or somebody like Danny Garcia's dad, but this is Derek James, nice guy. And then you're running up on him talking about
Derek James is a Buddhist too. He practices.
That's what I'm saying. How do you start? How do you start shit with a Buddhist? That's like that
used to box.
Yeah, and then he's like, oh,
he was a bad boy too.
Oh, what's up? And then Derek James like, oh, what's up? Oh, what's up? What's up? I'm like, yo, I'm so
he wild for that. I ain't gonna lie.
I'm like, I'm so sick of this guy. But even if I wanted to root for this man, I couldn't because he's that unlikable at this point now. You know what I'm saying? So that's why
Derek James' impression. Derek James' impression. Boy, I don't know who I am. But I'm lucky I got this suit on.
He was like, yo, niggas think I'm a punk. Like, yo, motherfucker,
think I'm a punk.
Yeah, so that's why I just strongly dislike Terence Crawford, and I don't perceive him the same way I did before. So it's just respect, but I don't want to see him on social media. I don't want to know what he has to say. In fact, when I watch the All Access episodes, I skip all his parts. Okay, I just go straight back to Errol. I don't, you know what I mean?
The things that he said to Derek James, he did come out weird. He should have done that to Errol Spence. Like, he should have been trying to create publicity with Errol Spence, or just some type of tension with Errol Spence, because you're about to go against him in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, but you know why? It's something that Kenny Porter said. I'm sorry, Steve, but it's something that Kenny Porter said when he was like, they were like, oh, how come Angel Garcia didn't start problems with you, because he usually does that to everybody else. Kenny Porter said? He said, people know, he said, Angel Garcia is from where I'm from. And where I'm from, you don't do certain things against certain people.
Right.
It's a fact. Right. Because who you're going to get away with, like get over on, and other people you're not going to get away with that shit. So Crawford knows certain shit is not going to fly with Errol. So he's better off keeping shit respectful. But with Derek James, because Derek James seems like a nice guy. Like, Derek James is not the guy that's going to, punch you in the face or nothing. So that's why. he didn't do that with Errol because he knows like Errol will give him that work.
Remember that confrontation?
Wait, that's what I was about to bring up because that he did have a confrontation with Errol before, but that was years
Errol
ago.
Was like Errol had his hood on. Errol was like,
yeah, he had his red hood, yeah. And the thing is, like, he was, even though he was talking crazy about that, like, my point was he should have been doing that again because the fight's about to happen now. Why not do it this time? Why promote the fight when it's not happening, but do it?
The closer we're getting to this fight, reality is coming. Serious.
I mean,
when Errol had that car accident, right? I did a little small video. And I'm not no YouTuber, but I just like making videos and I put it out there to the world. So that way you're gonna be like, damn, this man, he right on point. He survived that car accident. And people still say, oh, it's because of the car accident. No, he's done with the car accident. That man has been reborn. So as a fighter, as tough as he is, and he cleaned himself up. He don't drink no more. He's out on his farm. A man that's that honed in because you just you survived that way that Ferrari flipped, and he said, if I could survive smacking on concrete, I could survive any man. So think about the training you go into. I'm an athlete. I was an athlete too. I played football, basketball, and I ran track. And when I broke my wrist in basketball, I couldn't play for the season, so I trained for the track season coming up. And I trained so good, I became #1 in New York State in the long jump in 1984. Look. Prop there. But I'm just saying. So as a boxer, imagine that. A boxer, especially with the gift that he has, the power that he has, he's going to be 2-3 times even better because now he's focused. I wouldn't want to get in the ring with Errol Spence. That man's going to hurt you, boy. And Terence sees it. He knows it. That's why he's always, he said big fish. That's
the one thing I would say, if we were talking about essentially like a normal person or average person that doesn't really box or isn't athletic, I think Errol Spence, he like that what you just said would apply 10 times over for that type of person. But for Terence Crawford has that same he has the same power, boxing ability. I know y'all don't think he has the experience, or at least level of competition. I would say his experience, I guess you could say, is more, but his level of competition, I guess y'all don't think it's that.
But where do you get that from about Terence that he's got the same power and durability? Because
because he could stop dudes when he won. Remember when he went against Shawn Porter? So before the round that he stopped him, right? So I think it was somebody on his team. They told him that
Bomac told him that.
Yeah, told him that he was down on the card.
Like, yo, you're down on the card.
Exactly. And then he just decided to stop the fight right there. But to be honest, though, they could have let that go on longer. They could have let that go on longer.
Errol's still going to be there to hit you even more. So, So
all right. Because since you mentioned Shawn Porter, okay, I really want to address something because. And for everybody who's watching this that is a Crawford fan, because I'm a timestamp everything, Terence Crawford is not the guy that you think he is. Okay. And this is because I specifically went back and I watched the Porter fight and I watched the Shawn Porter fight. Okay. When he fought Shawn Porter was already like a beaten fighter before the stoppage. And this happened. And I noticed this way before that. Now, I don't remember what round it was specifically, but y'all can go back and y'all watch this. Mm-hmm. There was a round, I think it might have been the 4th or the 5th round. 5, maybe 6 seconds before the bell rang, Shawn Porter was already walking to his corner, like before the bell rang, like disengaged. I'm talking about. So imagine if we're sparring or some shit, and then it's like 10 seconds before the round is over and I'm already walking away. Once I saw that, I was like, yo, Shawn Porter's heart wasn't in that fight.
Right.
Honestly, it wasn't. There are a lot of fighters. Jared Anderson said this like 2 weeks ago. He was like, yo, I don't love boxing and I want to retire early. So if he's saying that and he hasn't even had that much of a career, what do you think about somebody like Shawn Porter? You know what I'm saying? Like who got into boxing really more so for career, more so than, oh my gosh,
like
I'm
legacy
so passionate
and
about the sport. Okay. So that's my thing with, Porter Crawford is that it's not like Terence Crawford is this dog killer assassin where he could just just stop you whenever he wants to. No, it's like there was so many factors that aided in that stoppage on top of what Terence Crawford was able to do. So I'm not taking everything away from him, but what I think is, again, like, you can't give him that much credit. Just watch Shawn Porter. Shawn Porter did his thing in that fight, but again, once you see where Terence was like, all right, so when they stopped and it was like 5-6 seconds before the bell rang, Terence was still like this. Shawn Porter literally turned his back and walked away. And if y'all don't, if you don't believe me, son, I will literally share the screen I will go and find that part. I will.
Right. And Porter is now Team Spence. Porter is now Team Spence.
Who's Team
Porter
Spence?
is saying Porter. When you watch Porter, listen what Porter says. Porter's picking Spence to win.
Are you talking about it was like a little like a Zoom meeting that they did? It was Kell Brook. It was
even before that, Porter was slowly putting drips and drabs in there about Spence because he knows the power of Spence. And if you watch the Spence Porter fight, I watch it, turn off the noise. You'll see Spence. Bow.
Terence Crawford couldn't do that. Terence Crawford couldn't do that shit.
Right.
Can't do that shit.
I ain't gonna lie. Terence Crawford was slick off the line because the thing is, when you said that Shawn Porter was turning his back,
and this was only one moment. So he only did that one moment, because I didn't notice that the first time that they fought. It's like if you're not really like locked in paying attention, you might not see that part. And once I saw that, I was like, yo, Shawn is just not, he wasn't like fired up. Like that same fuel and energy that was behind him when he fought, fucking Spence, that wasn't the same, he wasn't running on the right fuels. So when he fought Spence, he was running on 93. He was running on premium. When he fought Terence Crawford, he was running on regular. He was running on regular 87 gas. It wasn't the same. It wasn't the same.
One thing I will say though, we're talking about him turning his back specifically because I know what you're talking about. I did see that too. The thing is, I feel like the reason why he turned his back, not only just because he's like he didn't want to fight, because obviously after that first round, because the first round, if you look at it, this man, like, as much as you say he wasn't energetic, that man wanted to go in there. I'm telling you, he wanted to go in there. He wanted to mix it with Terence Crawford. But as soon as he couldn't get on the line with Terence Crawford, as soon as Terence Crawford started showing a bit of slick movement and hitting him with counter shots, because, Shawn Porter, he liked that little double jab. He liked to go on the line with a little double jab.
And he bounces around a lot. Like
exactly. Energetic. But as soon as Terence Crawford started interrupting his sequence, his 1-1, and didn't let him get the 2 off, Shawn Porter kind of became a bit anxious and nervous because that's usually his the way he gets on the line, right? 1-1-2. And he don't really move his head a lot. Exactly. He tries to do those over exaggerated feints, and he doesn't really move his head a lot when he throws his punches. He might try and give some head movement off the line, but so with that being said, he was getting timed by Terence Crawford in the first round. And his motivation, his confidence.
The first round, Terence Crawford. All right, like I said, I have so many critiques on Terence Crawford, and we're kind of getting all over the place. But
his punch output wasn't high the first round, but he
came out orthodox, and to me, that's another thing too. All right, so we're just gonna jump into Spence Crawford and shit like this. We're just, you know what I'm saying. So one of the reasons why I think Terence can't beat Spence is because, first of all, Terence Crawford, if I'm not mistaken, and you correct me if I'm wrong, LeVar, but Terence Crawford has fought nothing but right-handers since he's been up at 147. Is that true? Is that safe to say? He hasn't fought any southpaw opponents, and I'm making a point, but you correct me if I'm wrong. Every opponent he's fought at 147 so far, they have all been right-handed. Steve, like, correct?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you're right on that.
Yeah, I'm right on that. Okay.
Benavidez, Khan.
All right-handers. All right-handers. Now, if you notice, and he didn't do this with Jose Benavidez, not really, but he always comes out right-handed when he fights.
Oh yeah,
okay, and then he always, and mind you, and I can see what he's doing because, again, I train myself, and I really love boxing. He's doing that to pretty much gauge his opponent when they say download and all that shit. So he's trying to gauge everything about you, so that way he can switch it up. He can switch it up knowing that you can't do the same. And that's exactly why he's been so successful, is because he'll fight you right-handed for the first round, maybe the second round. The minute he gets uncomfortable, that's when he switches southpaw. The difference between him the difference between him And Jaron Ennis is Ennis. He actually switches back and forth throughout the fight. Because I watched him last week. I was like, oh, okay, I could actually say he's a switch hitter because he's always switching back to right.
Yeah.
And he has good moments fighting right-handed. It's not like only when he's southpaw, he's like Terence Crawford, because Terence Crawford, he only really does anything substantial when he's southpaw. So when he fought Kell Brook had good moments. Why? Because Terence Crawford was orthodox.
Exactly.
Shawn Porter was having his way, for the most part, when he was right-handed. And even then, he had good moments against Crawford when Crawford was southpaw. Because Terence, and this is why I say Terence Crawford is not like a dog and he's not a killer, and you can't put him in that category as Errol, because Terence Crawford, really, if you really watch him, he's an outboxer. He's not a boxer puncher. He's more
Errol's going to bait him into that killer. When he gets mad, and Errol knows exactly what to do. Now we're going to go toe-to-toe.
Right.
And once Crawford goes toe-to-toe, here come that body work. Crawford don't got no body work.
Well, he does, but he's not comfortable fighting on the inside. That's not where he likes to be. Every time Shawn Porter had a good moment against this dude was when they were up close, and Shawn was forcing him to fight up close. What was Terence Crawford doing? Moving back, keeping him on the outside with his lead southpaw jab, his lead hand. Because I love his lead hand. I remember when I watched him fight Kell Brook back in 2020, I was like, yo, his lead hand is like, it's crazy. And then even me, I kind of take bits and pieces of that. And mind you, I'm not even a southpaw, and I try to take bits and pieces of the way he uses his left hand to do more than just jab.
Yeah, he uses what you call a probe and a feint. It's like a feint.
Exactly. Yeah, like I love the way he probes. Like so if you watch my last sparring, oh, what the fuck? My shit is lagging.
Yeah.
But if you watch oh my gosh, my shit is dead ass lagging right now.
Move the antenna. No.
Okay, I think so.
Move the wire.
If you watch my last sparring with Adrian, you notice I was probing him a lot with my lead hand. I was probing him a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but anyway, so the point that I'm saying is all of those things that he was able to do with everyone he's fought at 147, he's not doing any of that with Errol. He's writing a check he can't cash. He doesn't have it.
10th round TKO EJ. And look at the Peterson fight. Peterson comes from a family of boxers. Peterson, if y'all don't know about Peterson, Lamont Peterson, he's a beast. I've watched him fight through the years. He had some good fights, and he's had some kind of, fucked up. But he's a strong dude, and Errol broke him down. Lamont Peterson, if you don't know Lamont Peterson, watch that fight with Spence. I mean, Spence after a while was like, because he just knows, man. That boy's like from Shaolin. I don't know if you watch Karate Flicks, but Shaolin, that's where Spence is now. He's in Shaolin, bro.
Shaolin.
What do you have to say to that, LeVar?
So I want to address that earlier point. I like that point that you brought up about Terence Crawford not being a smooth switch hitter, because I also critique him on his style. Because the thing about Terence Crawford, when he starts off in the fight, the reason he's going orthodox is not because he believes that he's going to open you up and box you from orthodox, but it's because he's looking for free punches. And typically when he's using his lead hand, he's hoping that his opponent's lead hand can be down and not trying to interact with his, because he'd be throwing out his left hand probe in orthodox. He wants you to interact with him, or he doesn't want you to interact with him. He wants you to have your hand down so he can land free jabs in your face, land crosses, and then kind of set you up. But when you because when he was going against Shawn Porter, for example, you saw how fast he switched to orthodox because Shawn Porter had a high guard and he wasn't really trying to.
You mean how fast he switched to southpaw?
Yeah, how fast he switched to southpaw, because he was because Shawn Porter, he wasn't controlling the line, but he wasn't letting Terence Crawford get free punches. You know what I'm saying? Get through his guard and stuff like that. But as the fight progressed, Shawn Porter was getting feinted and probed out of position, though, to where he dropped his hands. And that's one reason why I believe that Errol Spence is going to struggle, because he has the same problem, to where on first contact, Errol Spence, he's good at having his guard up on first contact. But when you start to feint and probe, he starts to drop his hands. And when you have these
but
longer
he's throwing
boxes,
jabs at you at the same time, too.
That's what I'm saying. Errol has a way better jab than Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford doesn't even really jab like that. Terence Crawford probes more than he jabs.
But that's the thing.
After the 29th, we coming back.
That's the thing, though. That's the thing, because with Errol Spence's jab, like he has good snap on his jab. It's pretty fast. The only problem is that every time he uses his jab, he steps with it. He has a step jab. It's easy to time. Shawn Porter was timing it, but Shawn Porter isn't a power puncher, and he doesn't have the same timing ability.
His footwork is amazing because he knows how to cut you off. So Porter probably. I
mean,
Crawford's going to stay outside for a minute and try to.
He can definitely cut off Terence Crawford. I feel like if Terence Crawford gets too cut off though, he's gonna start interacting with Errol Spence, and that's where I feel like it's really gonna be because I think as much as Errol Spence likes to go to the body, you know what I'm saying? He loves his body shots, but the thing is, body shots aren't free, and your opponent has to stay in the same position and lean with you in order for you to land those body shots.
He knows, but he does this. He leans.
Oh, yeah, he does. Yeah, he does use the little nice control. But the thing is, your opponent can just back up. Your opponent could just back up and start throwing counter punches when you try to lean on him like that. And he did that with
how we're breaking it down. I love it.
Yeah, I love this. I do love it.
I know people are gonna be like, "Who the hell are these guys?" You know what I'm saying? No, on the real, I never claim I'm a boxing aficionado.
Analyst or some shit, right?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
But one thing I do know is about pain. And when you get hit, because I tried boxing when I was younger and whatever. And these guys, man, there's a technique, and body shots will hurt you more than just getting to the head. But if
that's why I said I had some of my friends who got hit by me. You know what I'm saying? So then they can attest to that shit. But
you ever got hit in the kidney?
Yeah, well, no, I've never been hit to the kidney. Yeah. but I've been hit to the body before. Yeah.
Let me tell you what the feeling.
Yeah.
You get hit, and at first you're like. And then all of a sudden your body seizes, and then you feel a sting, but that sting just travels like hot all through you, and it's like
it's a delayed reaction. Everybody says it's a delayed reaction, like when you get hit by my uppercuts and shit like that.
A mule kicked you in your side.
Yeah. So
the worst body shot is the liver shot. If you get hit in there, is
because the body is not designed to take blows over there, because the liver where it's at, it's literally just underneath the rib cage, so that's why it's so vulnerable when you get hit over there. Now I just wanted to respond to something that you said, because you said what what did you say that Terence was going to do to Errol again? You said
I said he was going to control the space with feints and probes. And
so that's what I was going to say. So in boxing, right, basically what I feel like Errol can do. All right, the only thing that Terence Crawford can hope to do is to move around a lot. He's going to be moving around a lot, and then frustrating Errol.
Rounds like that. He ain't got time to.
And frustrating Errol.
Take it all in.
With combinations and being kind of, I want to say like flashy, like da-da-da, you know what I'm saying? Like moving around and putting a lot of punches together. Fast, quick punches together. That's the only thing he can hope to do. Because what Errol can do is force him to fight his fight. Terence Crawford can come out the first maybe 4 to 5 rounds and move around and stuff like that, but eventually that's not going to go moving around, because it takes more energy to move backwards and to utilize a lot of footwork. Errol doesn't waste movements. Right. Errol is going to spend the majority of that fight coming forward using
Chris Algieri.
This is y'all about to finish? Y'all about to finish?
No, yeah. So and he could also do to Terence Crawford kind of what he did to Ugas. Basically, once Terence Crawford gets to the point where he's not going to want to move around a lot for our stamina fatigue reasons, because all right, he's not going to want to stand in the middle of the ring with Errol and trade. He doesn't have enough power to do that. He doesn't have enough power to do that. That's why I was saying like Terence Crawford is not this power guy. He's strong, but he's not this power puncher that y'all think he is.
He got a sneaky right hook.
I gotta say, the reason why I disagree with the power is because on numerous occasions, Terence Crawford has shown that he's not just someone like Errol Spence that, if you sit on the line with him and let him throw like 400 punches at you and eventually break you down like that. Terence Crawford has shown that he can get 1 or 2 punches and immediately just hurt you after that. We saw with Kell Brook.
He didn't fight anybody.
He fought Kell Brook, though. Kell Brook fought Errol Spence.
Yeah, but he hit Kell Brook. All right, but that's why I said like Kell Brook is not the same Kell Brook that fought Errol, that fought Triple G, that fought Shawn Porter, because Kell Brook already had 2 broken orbital bones. Kell Brook has been hit worse than that. It's because this is a guy with already like predisposed complications with his skull, with his orbital bones. So when he got hit, he was already done. He was already done. Think about how
did Kell Brook retire?
Pretty much. He hasn't been back.
Yeah,
so yeah, who's he gonna fight? Who's he gonna fight?
Mikey Garcia.
Nah, he don't fight.
Mikey Garcia. But
Ugas still in pain.
But basically, LeVar, Steve, I've seen harder punches than what Crawford hit Kell Brook with. And again, you hit a guy who already had a fragile bone structure around his eyes. So that was a shot that he didn't see. Great, yeah, sure. But that shouldn't have been like, oh my gosh, this stoppage because of that. No, it's because this dude didn't want his face to get broken a third time. Because I'm pretty sure if you keep getting hit in your orbital bone or suffer fractures to your orbital bone, something serious is gonna happen to you. And then on top of that, Kell Brook didn't even have Dominic Ingle, who was his main trainer, his whole career trainer. He wasn't even training with him he didn't train with him for the Crawford fight. So not only did you get a broken Kell Brook, you didn't even get his. All right, so imagine, let's say Errol Spence. Not fighting Errol Spence without Derek James. So Errol Spence doesn't have Derek James this fighting Crawford. You see what I'm saying? Like that's not the same Errol Spence you're getting then if you don't have that key integral, part.
You gotta have that corner. You gotta have that corner, man.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying.
And Crawford got 3 people in his corner.
Yeah.
And okay, bud, do your thing.
Yeah, Coach, he's got Coach Clump. I think. Yeah. Did you guys see the new Bomac movie? Did you guys see that new Bomac movie?
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so he do got 3 people because Bomac is 3 people all in one. You're right, he do got 3 people.
You got 3 people.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like Crawford is not that guy. He's not that guy, and I cannot wait for the 29th when he gets stopped.
It's gonna be
and then we're gonna come right back. We're gonna come right back, and it's gonna be a video.
It's gonna be exciting.
Yeah,
but I don't think it's gonna turn out the way people think.
Yeah, we're gonna look at you on camera. We're just gonna say, LeVar, we told you so. All right, I'm gonna see y'all on the next one. Peace. That's what that video is gonna be.
All right, Mr. DJ.
You know what I'm saying? That's all we're gonna say. So again, like if you have a valid rebuttal, like I'm just waiting to hear it, but you haven't presented anything to me substantial coming from a Crawford fan.
Well, with the orbital bone thing. So the way that Terence Crawford stopped Kell Brook, though, even though he hit him hard like in the skull area, but it's like when he hit Kell Brook didn't know where he was. So that was a brain problem.
Yeah, because he was like, oh shit, my orbital bone. He was like, oh shit, y'all. He was like, yo, I don't want this shit to get broken again.
He's got both
that nigga took a knee. He took a knee, right? Yeah, didn't he take a knee?
No, he did. Wait.
Oh, they threw in the towel. I think either he took a knee or they threw in the towel.
He got knocked down twice. So the first time Terence Crawford hit him, right? He timed Kell Brook as he was bringing his weight.
Yeah, it was like a right. It was like a straight right that he hit him. It wasn't the left. It was the right. Yeah.
Because he early in the fight, Kell Brook was showing that he was going to use that back forward motion. He was going to bring his weight back then forward, throwing the right hand, putting some power into it. So Terence Crawford was like, okay, I'm gonna meet you with it. I'm gonna time you with it. So when you bring your weight there, I'm gonna make it the punch even harder by punching with you. And so when you punched him, all his balance was gone. Like, he might have not wanted to see his orbital bone get broken either, but you could see that his legs wasn't with him, and he was wobbling towards the ropes. It's not like he just
he went flying. I was like, yo, when I seen that shit, I was like, what the fuck? I was like, yo, where's my
he was hurt.
And LeVar, do you know them Charlo boys, right?
Oh yeah, Charlo.
One of the Charlo boys said, why do you wear rib protection when you spar against Errol? He said, man, you crazy? He breaks ribs. You got
He said they said that that Jamel like one sparring he was wearing a Ribitech like you know what I'm saying?
Every fight. You see him hitting that heavy bag. I watched him train, right? Not like I was there, but I watched him train hitting the heavy bag. I went, got something to eat, came back, maybe like 15, 20 minutes, he was still on that bag. Went to the bathroom, came back, he was still on that bag. And he was hitting it just I was like, oh, he's still going. He does 15 or more rounds of sparring. If that don't convince you, watch the Peterson fight. If you ain't watched Errol Spence fight, people talk about Bud, but Bud got everybody, hypnotized, because we all knew he was ducking. He was trying to, put it on Errol. Errol called him out and said, "You know who I want next? I want Bud Crawford, and I'm coming for them belts." But people are not watching Errol's fights, because if you see him fight Bundu is a strong dude. Peterson, strong dude. Ocampo, Algieri. Remember Mikey Garcia? Oh, Mikey's Mikey. Yeah, people lost a lot of money, man.
And he boxed Mikey. He sat there and he boxed Mikey the whole entire time.
Yo, EJ.
Yeah, I was about to say, because Mikey Garcia could have really, because the power that Mikey Garcia has, I do respect Spence for actually beating him and making out of the fight of Mikey Garcia, because he actually get hit pretty hard.
See, look at this. This is my other phone. So you see the date? So I scored that November 14, 2020. And I remember seeing that shit, and I was like, bro, he went flying. So there's this guy named According to Boxing on Twitter, and he was like, I have a question for Spence fans. And because, mind you, he loves Terence Crawford, right? So he said, for the ones who believe he will beat Crawford, can you give us a technical breakdown of how he beats Crawford? And I legit, like all the tweets that I said, right here. So I gave him a whole legit technical breakdown. I'm going to read that shit. So I said,
all right.
I said, one.
Give it to us, homie.
Yeah, so I said, the fight can go either way, but Crawford is a slow starter and may not switch to southpaw until he thinks he's gauged Errol in the ring, which he can't do that because Errol is too good. And then on top of that, he's not going to have the same positional advantage that southpaws usually have on right-handers. Mm-hmm. So you know how when a southpaw is fighting a right-hander, they have to make sure that their lead foot, which is their right foot, is constantly on the outside of the right-hander's left foot. Because that's usually how they get those shots. That's how they can easily set up the left, is because they're already on the outside. So if they're already on the outside, then they can easily set up, their left hand. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's not going to be able to do that, with Spence at all. And I said Crawford is not great at fighting orthodox. So he'd be throwing away the first and second round if he uses that strategy. So that shit that he's always used to doing, he can't do that shit anymore. That's one. And I said, meanwhile, he'd be taking more damage than he should fighting in that stance. Even if he started the fight southpaw, it'll still take him a while to make an adjustment, whereas Errol will already work behind his jab and apply pressure. So Crawford usually waits till the third, fourth round to figure out his opponents. Errol already got you. Errol's already going to start digging from jump. He's already going to start digging from jump. You see, so it's making sense.
15 rounds, man. The boy scores 15 or more rounds.
Yeah. Then I said Errol will be making adjustments too. So that's what I'm saying. So Errol's already going to be figuring you out from one. It's not going to take him that long. By round two, he'll already have made an adjustment, probably, if he needs to. You see what I'm saying? Whereas Crawford, slow starter, fourth, fifth round, it'll take him to figure that out. By that point, Errol's already going to have his rhythm, already have his confidence, and already have established his jab. And from his jab, he's already going to be fucking, taking mad damage and shit like that.
I would have gave Crawford more respect if he would have fought Ugas, Garcia, and some of the other fighters that Errol fought. Especially if he would have fought Ugas.
He should have fought, instead of fighting Avanesian, he really should have fought Ennis, if that's the case. But I want
Boots.
Yeah. We'll talk about him in a minute. But so I said,
I'm
real quick. So I said, since Errol will be adjusting as the fight goes on, by the time Crawford does figure Errol out, it'll be by the fifth, sixth round. And at that point, Errol would have built up a rhythm and established his jab and using it to set up more punches. I said, after watching Crawford versus Brook and Porter, I see he does not like to fight on the inside like that. I can see Errol pressing the action and for exchanges on Crawford and making him fight his fight. So they will be fighting Spence's fight. He will be uncomfortable the entire time. And Crawford is always used to fighting fighters that he's better than. Right. So if I'm better than you, if I spar you and I know that I'm better than you, I'm going to have a certain confidence that I wouldn't have if I'm fighting a fighter that I already know is on my level. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So he's not going to be the same Crawford that's sticking his tongue out and doing a whole bunch of shit that he's used to doing with, shaking his head and all. He's not going to be doing that.
What was the deal with the gloves, man, with Avanesian, man? We still that still hasn't surfaced again. Because that was some them gloves.
Oh yeah. I didn't even see that fight. No one took that fight serious.
The gloves looked old and dull and busted, and I was like,
"Oh, you talking about the ones he was wearing against Evan Easton?
Yeah,
They were like all ripped up or some shit. I seen a couple of pictures.
I ain't gonna just jump on that, but I'm just saying, these glove things, man, with Tyson Fury, come on.
Yeah. So, and I just mentioned, so I even ended up saying anyway. So I said Crawford is used to fighting guys he's better than. He wasn't at all worried at all against Porter, and you could see it throughout the fight. Even though he was down on the scorecards, he wasn't even worried. His confidence ain't gonna be that high against Errol, and he won't be in control of the ring. So when we talk about the way that you score fights, ring generalship, Errol is gonna have the better ring generalship against Crawford. That is a fact. Now, I said Crawford can catch Spence with a good shot, but he doesn't have enough power to knock Errol down, in my opinion. I don't think so.
I don't know about that.
I don't think so. Because again, because Crawford has a long reach. So even though he was an inch shorter than Jose Benavidez, he still had a longer reach, than he did. You see what I'm saying? And he looked I don't want to say he looked uncomfortable, but basically he's always used to being the bigger guy. And the reason why he might have said, if he actually said that, I don't know if that's true. The reason why he said that Jose Benavidez was his toughest fight was because Jose Benavidez is 6 feet. So he was the bigger guy. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Errol is bigger than Terence Crawford. We're gonna see on fight night. So they kind of look the same at the press conferences and all of that.
Nah, Errol Spence definitely bigger because he's
bigger than him.
He could go to middleweight. But that's another thing about Errol Spence that I think a lot of people don't understand is that most of these mistakes that he wouldn't make in the ring in the welterweight division, he don't really have to pay for him as much because of the weight that he has. And usually he's not going against the only puncher that he really went against that could have made him pay for that was Mikey Garcia. That's really it. But
against Errol? Mikey Garcia is not a puncher, bro. The only guy that was kind of and Spence says that today, that Kell Brook was his toughest fight. Kell Brook was his toughest fight because Kell Brook was just as big as Spence. Spence might have been a little bit taller.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that.
Kell Brook was big and he was strong. So
I was about to say that too because Kell Brook was big against
looking at fights, and I understand that. I mean, who had the better fights and who didn't. Mm-hmm. But I still think though is that I look at the body of work that Errol put, his output. His output is just, it's scary.
Yeah, he got very good output, and this
is one thing. Stronger as he goes, man.
Yeah, and that's how he's gonna take the rounds. Whereas Crawford is.
I don't know.
Crawford is a sharpshooter. Crawford doesn't really face punches.
What are you going by statistics, bro?
Yeah, this is the thing.
But you have to in this fight. In this fight, you have to.
I don't go by statistics. I go by how he kicks ass.
Because let's talk about we talk about
you get punched in the face.
So we talk about work rate and we talk about punch output, punch count, right? So Errol Spence does that very well. I definitely want to take that away from him. He's very good at getting on the line with you, beating you at first contact, throwing the jab at you.
He's transitioning.
Yeah. The only problem with that is that when you start to throw jabs, it's like, say for example, IRL. Let's say, for example, you try and throw a jab at somebody, but then they interact with you and then they're countering you. It's different, and it's gonna entice you to not want to keep jabbing more and more. Because the problem with Errol Spence, he could keep this rate up, right? He could keep jabbing if he's defensively responsible against Terence Crawford.
Which he is.
He takes your will. Did you not hear him say that?
All right. So give me an example. Give me an example of when Spence was defensively irresponsible.
When he was fighting Shawn Porter, and
you know why? Okay, I'll tell you exactly why he was defensively irresponsible. You ready? It's because he already said way before that his goal was to beat Shawn Porter at his own game. Yeah. That is exactly why. Do you think
he can take a punch to give a punch?
Defensively irresponsible if he chose to box Porter like he did Mikey Garcia, like he did Danny Garcia?
That's the thing. He was trying to, because what people will say is that he was trying to swarm with Shawn Porter. But the thing is, when you talk about boxing, the art of boxing is about interacting with your opponent using weight transitions. He was doing that with Shawn Porter. He was switching from the back foot to the front foot, throwing right hands, catching, moving with punches. When he was fighting Shawn Porter, he just wasn't on the outside doing that. He was on the inside. And
he chose to be on the inside. All of that, all of these flaws that you're talking about was by choice. If I'm choosing to do that, then that's not inherently me. That's just what I'm choosing to do in that particular situation. So therefore, Spence is not defensively irresponsible.
I would say that I wasn't saying that him boxing with Shawn Porter was flaws, but I'm saying he was showing flaws as he was boxing. For example, his weight transitions, him transitioning from the back foot to the front foot and vice versa, it's kind of slow and it's easy to time because you can see when he was fighting Ugas, for example, and he would get on the line, sit on the line with Ugas, because Ugas just a punch bag, he gonna stare at them. But when he was getting on the line with him, he was throwing shots at the body, and then he'll try and get to the back foot. Remember when he got hurt and when the mouthpiece dropped out? And then Ugas followed up with the
Ugas was supposed to finish him right there, and he didn't.
Yeah,
but he wasn't gonna finish. He wasn't gonna finish.
Yeah, he wasn't gonna do that. I don't agree with Ugas punching him after the mouthpiece dropped out. Anyways, but the reason the mouthpiece got dropped out was because he was trying to go to the body and he pulled to the back foot so slow. Yeah,
Ugas didn't know the mouthpiece went down.
No, Ugas didn't know. Yeah, he didn't know. Yeah, he didn't know.
Yeah, Ugas didn't know. That's why he said, "Oh, pow." And I mean, that shot right there could.
Do you think? See, and Errol has a better chin than Crawford does, because you think Crawford could have taken that 1-2 from Ugas and then just jump right back like he did? No, I don't think so. We've seen Crawford get hurt before.
Because the problem with Ugas himself is that Ugas isn't really a power puncher either. Because he doesn't really move
but getting hit flush.
He is
you don't
strong.
have to be a power. You don't necessarily have to be a power puncher to catch somebody flush at the right spot and put them down.
That's the thing. To catch them off guard.
That's the thing.
Because that caught coming.
Yeah, because Errol didn't even really see that punch coming, and it knocked him way off balance. And mind you, Errol is a bigger guy. Now let's put
that's
Crawford
what I'm saying.
in that same scenario. Crawford going down.
Crawford I want to tell you this. I'm gonna just make this quick. I'm gonna make this quick. When Errol starts to smile, when Crawford hits him, if he goes like that, yeah. If he does that, that's your ass. Like I said, watch his fight. Guys who catch him, he loves it. He's like a pit bull when you a Rottweiler when you the more you hit him, he just goes, yeah. He's gonna smile, bro. He's got this thing where he just goes, yeah.
If Terence Crawford wasn't like that as well, I would be scared for Terence Crawford. But we saw when Shawn Porter was hitting him, he was like, "Oh, you thought you did that?" Like he was standing there laughing at Shawn Porter when Shawn Porter let off a combination on him. But with that being said, though, about Errol Spence with the mouthpiece thing, the reason he got hit in the first place to get the mouthpiece knocked out was because his weight transition to the back foot was so slow. And the thing is, he's a heavy front foot fighter. He doesn't normally switch to the back foot position unless you feint and probe him out of position. And that's something that Terence Crawford does really well. For that, I would have to like really analyze and watch that part to see, because I know what you mean by that, but I would have to see it again to really, kind of have that same understanding that you're talking about. Shit like that. No, because the thing is,
do you box, LeVar?
Occasionally.
So basically, LeVar seen me do like what the fuck is he go?
I just got knocked out.
So basically, y'all know I do a lot of body shot, sparring stuff like that. Yeah. So he got inspired, and then he started doing body shot sparring himself, and he posted it on his Instagram story.
Oh, okay.
That's the thing, because he was beating up his friend, and you kept catching him with like this like awkward like
right hand.
It was like a right hand to like his body and stuff like that, which is cool. But what I was saying is like everybody sees and breaks down the sport differently. So it's like I look at it like the Matrix. So it's like if I'm sparring somebody, I see numbers. The numbers I see might not be the numbers that he sees. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's all different. So when he mentions like the line, I know what he means by that, but the way that I break it down, it's different. But I never use that terminology, but he does. So that's what
I like. No, I'm saying I like his technical term. You really get deep down into the realm.
Because most people.
But the bottom line is, Errol don't box you. He's there to beat your ass. That's the difference. He's like Tyson. Tyson ain't coming in to play. He's coming there to take you out. And he says, "I'm coming in."
Well, but here's the thing. That's why
does box. Well, I'll let you.
Yeah, no. So I was just gonna say that he does, come to, like whoop ass and all that shit. Yeah, but Errol has a boxer puncher style. So how there's 4 styles in boxing. Boxer, puncher, out boxer, swarmer, slugger, right? Errol can do it all. Now he might not be able to do it all at the highest level, but he can still do it all. Which is why I can rely on Errol's adjustments more so than Crawford's adjustments. If Crawford makes an adjustment, he'll still be fighting essentially the same way he was always fighting, just with small adjustments. Errol can switch it up. Errol can switch gears. I haven't seen Crawford switch gears the way that Errol has been forced to have to switch gears. You see what I'm saying? I can trust Errol's gas tank because we've seen Errol go, 10, 11, 12 rounds still fighting at a certain level. I haven't seen Crawford have to do that yet. Who has Crawford fought, honestly? And you'll tell me because you're a Crawford fan. And Steve, maybe you'll chime in, but I know you won't because, you're not a Crawford fan like that. So you're not really guys to say. Who has Crawford fought at 147 that has pushed him? That has really pushed him. We've seen Errol be pushed. We've seen Errol, because he created the knockout against Shawn Porter. He created the knockdown, against Shawn Porter and stuff like that. Has Crawford been pushed to that extent? Kell Brook pushed Errol Spence. Has Crawford been pushed to that extent? We know Avanesian didn't do it. We know Amir Khan didn't do it.
Oh, no, he did. Avanesian did push Crawford because the thing is, remember we was talking about.
Am I really gonna have to watch? Should I really have to watch that fight now? Because if I watch that fight,
it's only like 10 or something like that, 10 or 11.
It's only like a. No, it was like
a TKO
6,
stoppage. So
it was a clean knockout in like 6, I think. It was 6.
Yeah.
It's not that long.
Avanesian's rank. What was his rank?
What was his rank?
It was supposed to be, which is why he
wasn't in the top 10, was he?
Because one reason I love the Avanesian fight, was he orthodox or southpaw?
Because it was a one-sided fight. I'd love it too.
Yeah, he probably was orthodox. But the thing is, like, he was one of those people that wasn't allowing Terence Crawford to get free punches. Because if you watch the fight, you'll see how fast Terence Crawford switches to southpaw because he was looking for those free punches on Avanesian, but he had such a tight guard.
He was giving him a good rumble.
Oh, Steve, you saw the fight?
Yeah, he was giving him a little something. Yeah. But then you could see that, it was the first fight on Black Prime. It just, something didn't smell right because the gloves, here you are, your first fight on Black Prime, and you got glove gate happening. You got, and he didn't get fully paid.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think they spent, all their money, the whole budget, paying Terence Crawford $20 million or however much he said he got paid and stuff like that. So they didn't have enough money left, for them gloves.
I mean, it's in Omaha. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on.
I don't know,
really?
But Crawford, that's your boy, so you would know.
Here's the other part too. Other than Errol Spence smiling, in about the 4th or 5th round, if you see Bud do this, that's your ass, Bud, because Errol got you. Because now he's got prime real estate to come around, come here, and he's gonna.
And he's used to doing that. That's what he does. Everything that Terence Crawford does well in the ring, it's not going to be enough. Because you know what I was doing? Like I would say, like round 7, 8, 9 of the Jose Benavidez, because I stopped watching it at the 10th round. I was like, it's not going to be enough. It's just not going to be enough. Like he does things well. He's great, but it's not going to be enough. No. And I always see this, and I tell this people a lot. In all these fights, you see a separation after a while, like in skill. Yeah. There's going to be a separation. Like that's like when Ryan Garcia fought Tank. There's a separation. You see, it's levels to the shit. So with Errol and Terence Crawford, there will be a separation. You'll see eventually, and you will see LeVar that there is levels.
You look like a reverend when you did that.
You know what I'm saying? Like you will see that there's levels.
Let's everybody do it. Come on, let's everybody do it. Everybody do it. 1, 2, 3.
We'll see that there is levels to this, sir. You will see that there is levels. I'm just saying, mind you,
that's that acting stuff.
Like, but and again, like I said, I respect Terence Crawford. I like him, and I'm just happy that he made the fight. But it just won't be enough. And I know if there's going to be some Terence Crawford fans that are going to dislike this video, they're probably going to be
whatever, man.
Yeah. And again, so anybody that's watching this, if you want some smoke, if you want to come on here, because he didn't provide that much smoke. You want to come on here, set up the Zoom meeting up, and then you state your case. Steve will come back on here, and then it'll be 2-on-1.
Steve is always around for
bring whomever.
I love this. Whomever. This is what makes this fight so great. If let me tell you, and this was the beauty of this. This was a strategy to this. If you don't know, because in the acting game, we do a thing where you have to put out. You got to keep promoting. So people were like, "Yeah, we get the fight. So we were thirsty, all of us. We was like, yeah, we're gonna get this fight. Boom, November. What was it? November, October, something like that. Then it got pushed some other dates. But you know, you saw all the lines, all the videos on YouTube, guys doing podcasts. I was in there chiming, whatever. And then, it didn't happen. The buzz, that's where I was going with it. You have to create a buzz. To me, it's a great marketing scheme because everybody was like, oh, Bud's ducking, Bud buddies. And I don't like the thing where they call it Errol sexuals. That's not there's something wrong with that part right there. But the disrespect that people were going in on each other, man. And, you know, so then, boom, it dropped. So we had to watch Tank. We had to watch some other fights. Then we heard it was coming back around. And then the contracts was really signed. So here we back again. So it did a great thing for you YouTubers, man. It was like, yo, y'all got crazy videos. You know, if I don't want to, can I shout out people on here, Mr. DJ?
I mean, hey, everybody knows everybody. So yeah, you can go ahead.
You can tag other, you know, I watched a lot of, you know, older cats. I watch Pole Counter. I watch Boss Hog. I watch Boxing Ego.
Yeah,
Boxing Ego is cool. D-Town Boxing, stuff like that. So I watched these guys, and Blue Blood, he kind of did some weird stuff for a minute and kind of flipped.
Yeah, I haven't watched his videos in a little while.
Yeah. But the bottom line was, and then Mr. DJ, Mr. DJ does a little bit of everything. That's what I love. That's my man.
yeah. So yeah, you got a little bit of everything on my channel.
And long story short, and I'm gonna keep this quick, but I'm plugging this thing that we did this show where me and Mr. DJ, we do acting and stuff. And we did a boxing play. We do stage, and it was called The Legend. The Legend was a boxer who learned to box watching YouTube. That was the legend.
Legend here.
Yeah, he learned to box watching YouTube. Right, got it. I was the champion. What was your character? D?
So my character was like the bad guy. His name was Marcus Rampage Malone, I think his name was. Yeah. And
you talked a lot of shit.
Talked mad shit. I was a shit talker.
Right. But the legend was this kid who was just beating everybody up. And he can take a punch and he can throw it. So here I am, the champion. So I wouldn't give him a title shot because I watched his tapes and my man said, do you really want to get in the ring with this kid? So I'm pointing at, this is the Errol Spence. He's that guy. He's that guy, man, that you hear. Think about it. Yo, every boxer was like, man, I give you Errol Spence. And then they didn't know. And then all of a sudden, body snatcher, now he's the truth. Bud watched his tapes, and Bud started changing his tune after a while. Bud started getting more serious. Yeah, after that confrontation they had when he had on the Red Hood. He was like, I bet $1 million. Easy.
That's the thing, though. He was telling
Errol's that guy. He's dangerous, man. Y'all sleep if you want. But y'all can talk all that, but you know, he switches. You hear all the professionals. He switches. It ain't about that with
to me, he's not a real switch hitter, man. I mean, I guess because he can do it. So technically, I guess that makes him a switch hitter. But once I saw Ennis, I was like, okay, that's a switch hitter.
Ennis
he's like a switch prober.
Yeah, Boots.
A switch gauger. He's not really trying to hit you orthodox. He's just trying to feel you out.
Yeah, Boots is the man.
No, which is good. Like I said, not a lot of people do that. I can't freaking fight southpaw to save my fucking life. You know what I'm saying? So not everybody can do that, you know, like good enough as to where they can use it for that particular, you know, strategy. But, you know, Crawford, he getting stopped, man, or he's getting hurt.
Oh,
he getting hurt. He's getting hurt. Trust me, if I felt like, all right, like I like Jermall Charlo, right? And honestly, I would say like stylistically, I actually like him the way that he fights more than Errol Spence. And I can honestly say that if he fought Demetrius Andrade tomorrow, he wouldn't have his way with him. Even though he's my favorite fighter, I could still say, yo, Andrade would probably give him that work and has the good chance to beat him. So if I was watching these fights and I felt like Crawford actually had the makings to beat Errol, I would honestly say that. Like, I'm not that like, remember when we talked about, I think it was Devin Haney, Lomachenko, I was like, yo, even though I like Devin Haney, if I felt like Lomachenko really won that fight, I would just say, yo, Lomachenko won that fight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm not afraid to give Crawford, like his props if I felt like he, was owed them. But in this scenario, I just felt like out of all 8 or 9 fights that he's had, or if it's that many, let's say between 6 and 8 fights that he's had at welterweight since 2017, I have not seen anything that he can present strategically, physically, and anything else or otherwise that can be enough to beat Errol Spence. Errol Spence's journey to where he is right now is way harder than the journey that Crawford has had at 147. This is facts. This is facts. Amir Khan can't beat anybody on Spence's freaking, resume in the last 5 years. Facts.
Bud wasn't fighting strap season.
That's what I'm saying. David Avenesian,
take your belts.
That's what I'm saying. Like he hasn't fought anybody. That's why I wanted to get you on here just to see if you were going to present any counter arguments. But
I actually want to get some conclusive arguments. Well, unless are we getting close to that or?
No. I'm just about to pull up his resume again. We don't
jump. We're not like Crawford fans, man. We don't jump all over you because we already know.
That's what I'm saying.
Fans be getting hostile.
Yeah, because wait, hold up. Who fought recently, LeVar, that you said was gonna win and they didn't win? Who was it? Did you think was it Caleb Plant? It was somebody.
I think Caleb Plant against Benavidez.
Yeah, I think you thought that, or you were rooting for Caleb Plant, and then you were like, "Yeah, Plant gonna beat him or some shit." And then I DM'd him right after that fight, and
I was saying if Benavidez walked into a left hook, or if he ran into a left hook, then
Caleb Plant not built like that, yo. Caleb Plant is not built like Caleb Plant. Yeah, Caleb Plant honestly has like a similar style to Terence Crawford, except for Terence Crawford is just better than Caleb Plant. Like Caleb,
Caleb Plant, because Caleb Plant he just stays on the back foot. Terence Crawford can fight off both positions. He has speed off both positions, power.
Canelo
both positions. Yeah, Canelo
put it on him, but Benavidez, everybody was ducking Benavidez. I'm sorry to say.
Yeah.
I mean, he was
Canelo
he had a big weight problem.
Real quick,
when he got in shape,
real quick,
so on Benavidez.
David Avenesian lost to Lamont Peterson in 2017, right after Errol fought Errol fought Lamont Peterson in 2018. So David Avenesian lost to somebody that Errol beat. So David Avenesian is a throwaway. David Avenesian is a fucking throwaway.
I never understood that.
But yeah.
And Shawn Porter, in my opinion, and I have the scorecard, my old scorecard, he lost to Ugas, in my opinion. He lost that fight. And I love Shawn Porter. I love Shawn Porter and his dad.
Ugas was tagging.
So Shawn Porter arguably lost to, who Errol Spence beat. So that's what I'm saying. Like, basically, Spence gonna beat him. Okay, and then we'll come back to this. We'll come back to this. Because the fight is what next? Yeah, the fight is next weekend. Yeah, the fight is next weekend.
Yeah,
the fight is
around the corner, baby.
Yeah, right around the corner. So, me, man. So, be ready, man.
With that being said, like my conclusive arguments for Terence Crawford,
acquiring minds
against Errol Spence. So the first thing I want to say is, his first contact on the line is just overall better than Errol Spence. And what I mean by that is his feinting and probing to set up his opponents and make them get out of position more often is better. And not only does Errol Spence positions, they're also lacking it, slower than Terence Crawford. He gets caught more trying to transition between the front and back.
Right. There are things that both of them do better than you. But everything he does good is not going to be enough.
I think the reason why Errol Spence is going to pay for having slow weight transitions, though, is because, like, if Terence Crawford wasn't a fader in the program, he didn't try and set up his shots, Errol Spence would probably be better off. But because, especially if Errol Spence tries to get on the line and start throwing body shots with Terence Crawford, not only are body shots not free, but we saw in the Ugas fight that when he tried to do that with Ugas, that he actually got caught, and that's when his mouthpiece came out. But because Ugas is not a puncher, like I said, he don't punch that hard, Errol Spence didn't have to pay for that. Plus, he's like a weight bully in that division. But Terence Crawford has real power.
You're not a weight bully, man, because he can make the weight. They're all making the weight. They're all making the same weight. You feel what I'm saying?
I shouldn't say weight bully, but he himself is naturally bigger. Like, he has a bigger structure than most people in his division. I shouldn't say weight bully, though. You're right. But with that being said, though, I think that him being on the line more often than Terence Crawford actually does him less justice than it serves him, because of the fact that when he's throwing these body shots, he's going to be meeting counters. I don't think he ever went against a fighter that actively countered him while he was on the line over and over and over again. Because if you watch if you watch an Errol Spence fight, you can see Errol Spence, he'll want to lean on his opponents. He'll start throwing body shots at him. But most of the time, his opponents, they'll just be in their guard and standing there like almost a punching bag.
You're going to see Crawford do that.
I guess you didn't see that video. Why they
Crawford boy do that shit eventually.
Crawford is someone, but the thing is, even if, let's say Crawford does shell up, and let's say he does try and get on the line with Errol Spence, he's gonna start counter punching with Errol Spence. And he punches really hard because he practices
fast. He punches fast and he has power
too.
But he's not stronger than Errol Spence when you apply, boxing. So there's like general strength, and then there's like strength as it pertains to boxing. And he's just not stronger. Trust me, he's not stronger than this fight. I can't wait for this fight, just so, because when I'm watching this fight, I'm gonna think of your ass. I'm gonna be like, yo, watch when that moment happens. I'm gonna be DMing you, bro. Round by round, I'm DMing your ass like, yo, bro.
LeVar, you do know that Errol spars big dudes.
Yeah.
That try to beat him up.
He gotta be sparring.
If you watch some of Errol's interviews, he sounds like he's punch drunk. Because you could tell his workouts, man, is so draining. He's been like, like that, and you could see he's got some zig knots on his head because his training. That's why I go back to the idea of Shaolin training. Shaolin training works your mind, your body, and everything from the head to the toe. And so, Errol, he takes a punch to give a punch. So that's why he does get caught.
But that's gonna be very dangerous against Terence Crawford.
No, it won't. Because Terence ain't the most powerful puncher. He
is very powerful. Not the most, but he's very powerful.
You make Terence Crawford sound like Deontay Wilder or some shit.
He's not Deontay Wilder.
Peterson caught Errol with some shots, and that's when Errol went like this. Yeah, he enjoys that. There are some people that can absorb punches, whether you believe it or not.
But this is the thing, though. When we talk about absorbing punches, so there's a difference between being able to willpower yourself and absorb a punch. You hit him and he goes like this. But there's a difference between that and then real power. If someone has real power, they can shut your brain off and make it hard for you to will your way into, stand up. Because if someone just punches hard enough and you just go down, you'll be like, dang, what happened? And then you try and get yourself back up. But there's those people, if they hit you, you just go straight to sleep. And Terence Crawford, he's one of those people, because he just did it with his last opponent, David Venetian. That man went straight to sleep.
You keep bringing up David Venetian.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, yeah, you're doing all of that, but like, who are you doing?
Don't do that.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like, who are you doing?
Don't bring up the fighters that he's done, because he's just beating up, fighters that's either washed up on their way out,
or
already been beat up by
randoms.
Right. I wouldn't be bringing up that argument if I didn't think
he got depressed after his fight.
If Errol Spence kind of did the same thing.
Kell Brook, right? Yeah, he said he was depressed after the Spence.
Not even just Kell Brook, the other Garcia. There's Mikey Garcia.
Mikey hasn't fought since then.
Right. Each one. Porter said he wasn't the same after the fight. Ugas is still on the mend. I mean, you just gotta, this is how the Crawford supporters lose these arguments. It's because they keep saying, yeah, but he's done this, but look who he's doing it to, and look what Errol's doing to the other guy. So it's like,
well, I wouldn't say that I'm trying to compare David Venetian himself to Errol Spence's opponents. One thing I just want to try and make understood is that Terence Crawford, his ability is going to line up with Errol Spence's ability in a certain way. And I just want y'all to know the things that Terence Crawford has available. Because
we know. We know.
Yeah.
Hey, and LeVar, DB coming over here watching boxing, he be up like this.
Facts, yo.
He be in front of my TV. I mean, boy, if you don't sit your ass down, eat it.
I don't. What fight was that? I don't. Oh yeah, we were watching. The last time I was there, we watched Charlo Castaño, the first one.
Yeah, he don't sit down. I love it, man. He be in the TV.
I be locked in, man. I be seeing shit the fighters seeing. Sometimes I be throwing the right, yo. They throw the right too. So I be locked in, yo. You know what I'm saying?
Speaking of
I was lying.
And,
yeah, Mikey Garcia fought Jesse Vargas and Sandor Martin, but that was in 2021. So that's what I'm saying. Like, he hasn't really done anything since then.
Right. Every fighter has been changed after Errol Spence fight.
And he lost. Wait, yeah. Oh, he lost to Sandor Martin. Yeah, he lost to Sandor Martin. I don't even know who that is.
Errol came back from that car accident, and I'm gonna do my little summarizing of it.
Because the thing is, like,
ever since the car accident, you know, I know him and his family sat down, and probably because he said he was thinking about, do I still want to box? So he just went back in. And to me, sometimes you just can't when you overcome something, a life-threatening incident like that, accident, it changes you. And when you become more laser focused, see Terence Crawford out with rappers and doing all this. Errol is in his farm. He's boxing with his kids on his farm. He's boxing with his kids, does interviews on his farm.
Yeah, locked in. He locked in. He locked in.
And when you've been training this long, do you really believe that even though as good as Terence Crawford is, like I said, I don't take nothing away from Bud. See, that's the problem with Terence Crawford's fan. Y'all think it's just like it's all about Terence and hating on EJ. I watch all their fights. I understand how these guys get down, but I don't come across like I'm the know-it-all of it. But I just go by my opinion. And my opinion is a man who's honed in like that is hard to stop. And he said that. He said, I'm gonna take your will. What else did he say? I'm gonna take your will from you. Then that's basically he's gonna break you down.
It's about turning Terence into a fish fillet. but
but that's the comedy of it. But for a man to take your will, and Derek James will tell you what it takes. And Derek James, that's why he is the best coach of the year, probably the next 5, because he knows where to hit you. He knows how to make the adjustment. But EJ don't have to make but just minor adjustments. A lot of it's instinct, because if you watch the Porter fight, wow, and he hits hard.
But that's the thing with Errol Spence's instinct,
passion with his hits,
his instinct,
bad intentions.
Yeah, like his instinct is gonna be very detrimental to him, because Terence Crawford, while he does have instinct as well, he has these things called positions, which he's going to be ready to go into after he throws his punches. So say, for example, he's on the line with Errol Spence. He throws a right hand. He's putting out that position already. Errol Spence likes to keep his head in the same slot when he's throwing these punches. And because he does
a lot of blocking and parrying. Because he blocks and parries. He doesn't really have to, which he does roll, but primarily he does a lot of parrying and blocking. So that's probably because people used to say a lot. People don't say this a lot, but they're like, "Oh, Spence don't move his head." Why? Because he's blocking and parrying. That's the thing. You don't.
I don't always still in your face.
Do all of that. If I could just parry you, you know what I'm saying, and block your punches, so it doesn't really matter.
But that's the thing. When you keep your head in the same position for too long, it's easier to feint and move you out of position. That's why Errol Spence is very susceptible to that. Well, I will always say
he takes risk. He does. He takes risk. But to understand that you have to go 15, 16 rounds with big dudes that are clobbering on you. And they're like, this dude is a beast, man. And they will tell you, these guys who are middleweights, heavyweights will tell you, Errol Spence, y'all don't understand what y'all about to see.
He has a couple videos talking about Errol. And there's one where Errol's like, yo, nigga, I'll spar you too.
But yeah, I would always say on first contact, like on first punch, Errol Spence's defense is probably one of the best, because he usually has his hands up ready to guard the line. He understands how his opponents or where the punching range is. Because when I say the line, I'm just talking about like punching range is the most simplest form. He understands what it's going to be. He understands how the punches are going to travel. And the only problem is the ABC defense doesn't work when you start to get feinted and probed out of position, when you don't know exactly what your opponent is going to do. Because Terence Crawford
can do that too. He's got great footwork.
Errol don't feint and probe a lot. I can't lie. He does the step and jab a lot, he does that.
Yeah, he's not. Errol is not. Yeah, Errol is not the southpaw that does a lot of probing, because again, he doesn't have to do that. Him and Terence Crawford are both southpaws, but they're two completely different fighters.
And the thing is,
in a nutshell, Terence Crawford will lose. Like, I can't stress that. I can't stress
the only way.
Put your money where your mouth is, LeVar.
I got a $20 bet with somebody about it, and then it wasn't too big on that. He actually wanted to do it with me, but I ain't gonna talk about the other bet. That's like another.
I'm looking for some mortgage money, man. I'm putting like
putting a couple thousand or some shit.
I kind of analyzed and looked over it. I would say I'm trying to look at every aspect into where I think Errol Spence has an advantage and how I think he can win, because I'm not just going into it thinking about everything that Terence Crawford has. I try and look at it. I'm like, okay, Errol Spence good at first contact. What does he do after he gets feinted and probed? He typically drops his hands, and he typically tries to pull to the back foot, which means that Terence Crawford is going to be able to follow and throw leaping shots, which have even more power than if you're just standing normally, which Terence Crawford actually does leaping shots a lot. So I think Errol Spence is going to be susceptible to that. One other thing is that Terence Crawford isn't just going to sit on the line with him like people like Ugas and a lot of punching bags that Errol Spence has fought against do. And
he will, because Bud's a brawler. Bud's a dog. Bud, he's gonna after a while, Bud's gonna be like, you know what?
Terence Crawford is not a brawler, man.
What I'm saying is, in his fights, that's what they call him a dog, but Errol's a real dog.
That's what I'm saying. It's levels to this shit. And
once you got 4th or 5th round, Terence, they told him, well, Terence is just computing. By then, it's too late, because by then,
he gonna do all that computing. He gonna do all that computing and downloading. He gonna catch a virus, like Errol say, he gonna catch a virus, man. So I just don't see him.
I would say he's a very active prober, a very active puncher. Because this is the thing, while he's downloading that data, he's also still getting his punch caught up, but he's also still countering you in the fact that, because the thing is, when he's doing this download data, the whole point of it is to understand what his opponent is going to do when he does something, or vice versa. Usually it's him that starts to do. He's the controller, he's the prober. And even if Errol Spence says, nah, F that, I'm going to be the one to just jab in front of your face, Terence Crawford wants you to do that, because what feinting and probing is, at the end of the day, is to see what your opponent is going to do and to draw reactions out of them. So say, for example, Terence Crawford, he comes out in orthodox, and then it's an open stance matchup, right? And he starts probing with the lead hand. And then we see Errol Spence, Errol Spence actually likes to play with the lead hand a little bit too if he sees you probing.
Because he has an active jab, So his jab, his lead hand is going to be out there, just like Terence Crawford's lead hand is going to be out there. And mind you, it's going to be a bit different because they're both southpaw.
And that's why I like that. Well, yeah, they are both southpaw. But in the case that, because I think Terence Crawford is going to come out orthodox at first. He's going to try and play with Errol hands.
Mistake. That would be a huge mistake, because he's going to have nothing.
It really depends on what he does, though, because like I said, he's going to try and play with.
Yeah, but he never does. He never, which is why I said earlier, he never really does much as orthodox. It's basically, like you said, it's just to get reactions, so then he knows what you're going to do. He can predict everything that you're going to do by the time he turns southpaw. But he doesn't have the luxury of doing that with an elite fighter like Errol Spence.
And the pain that he's going to experience by 4th or 5th round, ain't no more. That's why I said Terence is going to be forced to fight him.
Yeah, because
after a while,
he's gonna want to fight Errol Spence on the line, because let me tell you why. First off, in order to get Errol Spence on the line with him, because we already know Errol Spence wants to get on your line, he wants to get in the punching range with you. So the thing is, the reason why Terence Crawford will go orthodox is because not only is he looking to see what Errol Spence is going to do with his jab, but he's going to also shut it down by interacting with him. Say, for example, you throw, like I told you earlier, you throw a jab at somebody and then they jab you right back, or they counter you as soon as you jab. Are you still going to want to keep throwing that same jab over and over again? Or are you going to feel less enticed to do it?
All right. This is what I would do.
What's your prediction?
But this is what I would do if I was Errol. So this is how I'm predicting.
I want both of you. Let's give a prediction.
Yeah. Oh, we wouldn't even.
We
already know we're rooting for. We're already rooting.
No, I'm talking about how it's going to happen. I got 10th round TKO.
Errol. Yeah. Honestly, I could say I got like at a base minimum unanimous decision.
I don't think it's going to go to that.
No, but I'm saying, let's say if it does go, it wouldn't be a split decision. I wouldn't even say it would be a majority decision. It's going to be unanimous decision. But if there is going to be a stoppage, it's going to be a late stoppage, because Terence Crawford has a big ego, and losing is going to be a new experience for him. So therefore, there's no way unless a fluke were to happen. There's no way it's going to be a fast early stoppage. He's got a big ego, and his confidence is going to be high because he's a champion. He's been undefeated, and he's been undisputed before. So he's been under these similar lights, not the same lights, but similar lights. But it's going to be in the championship rounds, 10th round, the earliest. I see a stoppage happen.
I got 10th round TKO. I made a video about it too.
Yeah.
I'll say this.
I came back from
I completely forgot that you even said that.
My prediction, I'd probably say this. I have certain scenarios that can happen in a fight because I don't only think just one thing can happen. I think there's multiple things that can play into it can happen. And with that being said, I can't give y'all one guarantee at the minimum. If Terence Crawford sits on the line and plays with Errol Spence like he did with Shawn Porter, but doesn't knock Errol Spence out, Errol Spence is going to win. I can tell y'all that for a fact. That's a guarantee. But if Terence Crawford moves off the line and interacts with Errol Spence a lot and is able to hurt Errol Spence, then I give him a much higher chance of winning. But also,
he's a hard man to hurt.
That's what I'm saying. It's not happening.
You see that 8-pack he got?
And let me just say something, because I was going to say something a little bit earlier. If I was Spence and Terence Crawford were to come out southpaw, and in boxing you have to have multiple different game plans. So I would have a game plan just for him coming out. I would have a game plan for him coming out orthodox at first and him coming out southpaw, but only for orthodox. I'm going to explain, that I can't explain. I would give him a completely different look if he were coming out orthodox. So meaning, if he were to be orthodox, I would box him. I wouldn't come close range because I feel like that's what he'd be expecting. So I would chew him up from the outside if he were orthodox. So by the time he thinks, oh, his game plan is to box me, and when he switches, that's when I would give him the close range and force him to fight. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So I would give him two different adjustments. If he's thinking he's gonna get one thing, so it's like, all right, when he switches, that's when he thinks that he's got me figured out. Mm-hmm. And when he does that, that's when I'm gonna make an adjustment on top of his adjustment. You see what I'm saying? So when he switches and he's thinking, okay, I'm gonna be fighting comfortably because I always fight at a distance, and I'm gonna be fighting southpaw. That's when I'm gonna take it to him, and I'm gonna make him fight my fight, which is going to be my adjustment on top of his adjustment. Because they say that all the time, like, fights are all about making adjustments. Mm-hmm. And who's going to make an adjustment? Who's constantly making adjustments? Because that's whoever comes out on top is going to be the one who wins. So for me personally, that's why I say him being orthodox is that will be his biggest mistake. That'll be his fatal mistake if he does that. If your boy comes out orthodox, that's what I would do. That's exactly what I would do. So
because one getting hit on one side, and they get like, wait a minute, let me switch up.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying, and he's gonna have to switch back.
This is hurting.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because with the orthodox thing, I don't really think it's that useful for Terence Crawford to come out in orthodox because like I said before, Errol Spence typically has good first contact defense, so it's going to be hard to find free punches.
If Spence was right-handed, sure. Yeah, if Spence was right-handed, by all means, go ahead and do what works for you because that's worked before. Yeah. But because Spence is a southpaw, it's great for having that positional foot advantage.
Yeah.
But because you're fighting a guy that you're not really going to have that same advantage over, what's the purpose of using orthodox? Because you can't use it because the application, it doesn't apply anymore. That structure, that outline, that one size fits all approach, it doesn't fit for this fight. So that's why I think you should just come out southpaw, fight southpaw the whole entire time. But
this is also another thing I would say. I think on Errol Spence's part, if he really doesn't want to, first off, obviously get KO'd, and if he wants to fight more strategically against Terence Crawford, things he should be thinking about, while also looks are important, about having the looks in with the southpaw and the orthodox. I think what's also important is about how he essentially plays with Terence Crawford's lead hand, his rear hand, about how he gets onto the line with Terence Crawford. Because the thing is, he's not going to just be able to try and, like you saw how with Ugas, right? Ugas would just have his guard up and standing right there and let Errol Spence just... But that's the thing, though. Like, he got onto the line.
He broke his ribs, man. He broke his ribs.
And that's what I'm saying, though. It's because Ugas was staying there. And the whole reason Errol Spence got there in the first place is because Ugas is that type of fighter to already be there in that guard and standing there like a punching bag.
Ugas was coming out throwing some joints. But then Errol caught him. You can see when he caught Ugas one time, then Ugas went into his shell because he didn't want to get hit on that side. That's when he started shelling and getting the uppercuts because he didn't.
I would say he's still that type of fighter to still want to sit on the line, even though he was throwing a bit of punches at first. He still wants to like body up with you. And Terence Crawford is almost the complete opposite of that. And in that aspect, Errol Spence is gonna have to watch out for running into a punch when he's trying to get into range of the body. Because say, for example, you see somebody that you sparring with, right? And then y'all doing like, you're trying to go for the body. So instead of like trying to feint your way into the body shot, you just try and like rush into range and then throw a body shot, and then you get caught on the way in. The thing is, Errol Spence has to be very careful.
Errol's not that reckless. He's not that reckless because he works behind his jab. You're not going to see Errol doing that until he makes his way in with the jab.
Makes his way.
That's what I'm saying. Like the jab is the key to get in the door to be able to create opportunities to hit the body. But so that's reckless. Errol's. I've never seen Errol be that reckless before, where he's just going to jump to the body. Errol doesn't do that. Errol doesn't do that.
That's what I'm saying, though, because in the context that I'm giving in that is that the reason why Errol Spence is going to be in that that way where he has to get onto the line with the body shot is because his jab is going to be getting timed a lot by Terence Crawford because, like I said before, Errol Spence has a very predictable step jab. And while it's quick and fast and snappy, obviously, it's very easy to time. Like I said, Shawn Porter was timing it. Ugas was timing it. Terence Crawford has much better timing than both of them combined, and he hits harder than both of them. And with that being said, Errol Spence also doesn't move his head when he throws the jab. So, I mean, simply –
we'll see, but I know we've been on this for a minute. So
everybody, look, Crawford's thing is everybody got a plan until you get hit.
That's what I'm saying.
I got Crawford. I got Crawford by if he doesn't meet Errol Spence on the line at the beginning of the fight, because I think the moment he hits Errol Spence with a hard enough shot, Errol Spence gonna go down. But whether or not,
and if he don't, you're gonna go like this. Oh, maybe I was wrong.
Yeah, if he look, there's totally a possibility that he might not be able to knock out Errol Spence.
Errol can take a punch, man.
Because he tries to mess around with him like he did with Shawn Porter. Like I said, if Terence Crawford does what he did with Shawn Porter for a long time, then he's gonna lose to Errol Spence. But the thing is, if he's able to feint and probe Errol Spence early, and also just get Errol Spence out of position because he's susceptible to that, I could see Errol Spence like getting dropped pretty early. Actually,
basically he don't
for me.
Nah. Steve, he don't see Terence Crawford winning because we asked him for a prediction. He literally went a whole around the world. You don't see him winning, dog. You don't see him because
this is the thing. Yeah. My predictions are stoppages for Terence Crawford.
All right. So what's the stoppage? So what round and TKO or KO?
Well, let me just give you one. Let me just give you one. Then I'll say let's say 8-round stoppage. I'll say after Errol Spence probably been knocked down about twice. I'll say that.
Uh-oh.
That's one instance. But there's, like I said, there's multiple things that can happen in the fight.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
But I like, because the thing is,
you should have said like he's only, if that were to ever happen, that slim chance is only by decision. That shit going all 12 rounds.
No.
That man is not knocking down,
it can't
Errol Spence 2 times.
It depends on
how
Terence Crawford lands, but yeah, I understand it's getting pretty long.
Bro, I'm sorry, you in for it. You gonna have a long night. You're gonna watch the fight and go, ooh, wait, Terence.
We got to get like a Zoom or some shit, and we're all watching the same. We're all watching the fight at the same time or some shit.
Reaction.
I literally want to see the look on your face.
I'm gonna be like this
when that shit happens, yo. Yeah, like I'm like, what you gonna say? Like when when is it? Because you know what Terence Crawford gonna say? He'll be like, he gonna say, you know what?
But this is
what he gonna say, and I'm gonna end it like this. Terence Crawford gonna say, "This man is the truth.
He's the truth.
Real shit. He gonna say he the truth. This might be the Terence Crawford era, but you're now winning on the 29th. After
Terence Crawford, he's retiring after this. He got a big payday.
I ain't gonna lie, we got a fish fillet coming up. Errol Spence is on the top hotline. We got a fish fillet.
You can sell a
We're
slogan
smoking
you
some
want.
bud packs. You know what I'm saying? You know,
Smoking
all
on
of that.
bud.
You know,
Get my
crawfish.
t-shirt. Smoking on bud.
You know what I'm saying? Smoking on bud. You know, that's what we doing over
Smoking
here,
on
man.
bud.
Big fish man down. Anyway.
All I'm gonna say to conclude it off is the moment that Crawford hits Errol Spence with a good shot, it might be night-night. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Whether or not Errol Spence can survive and not get hit by that shot, we don't know.
I know they're both dark skinned and all of that, but you sure you're not talking about Deontay Wilder, man? Because that's a heavyweight, bro. Terence Crawford not built like that, man. Terence Crawford is not built like that.
Terence Crawford got some good power. The 2-foot punch and the pendulum. He got some good.
We're gonna see. Like I said, I cannot wait for this fucking fight. I cannot wait. But anyway, I'll see y'all in the next one.
Smoking on bud.
Smoking on bud.
And fish fillet, but